Hey, Mike Swanson here. I've just made 2 sells in my portfolio. That's something you haven't seen me do for quite some time. I know the stock market's down a little bit today, but that's not really why I'm selling. Let me update my portfolio here, and then I'll get to the reasons why. You've been watching me do this now for 2 months, manage this, and every once in a while you've got to look over things and make a change to what you're doing. So this is a sell today. Just did this a few minutes ago. I had 360 shares. And this is the Turkey ETF, okay, that I'm selling today. And now it's closed out. And then I also sold Arlington Assets, which is a mortgage company, and I made a nice $2,200 gain right there. The other one I pretty much just basically broke even, but this is a nice pop, you know, $2,200, and I'm taking profits. It's always nice to take profits on something every once in a while. It's like it's an 11% gain essentially. It's pretty fun. Oops, what did I just do? I made a mistake. I think I said buy instead of sell. Where is it? Yep, that's exactly what I did. So we're going to fix that. These are all my trades, by the way. But below this video, you can click and download a spreadsheet of all this. Now, let me explain what I'm doing. Now, as you know, I've been on margin on my account, and I just sold $40,000 worth of stocks, and I've just reduced my margin by $40,000. And I made a deposit, a $10,000 deposit, a few days ago, and I'm making another deposit that should be in here in a week or two. So I'm reducing my margin is basically what I'm doing. I was almost like 150% on margin a few weeks ago, and now we just slashed that, and we're basically going to cut it down to like 10% or something is what I'm basing, something like that. So the reason I'm doing that is because we've seen these markets have big moves up, okay? Here's the S&P 500, a giant rally, and a lot of my stuff's in gold stocks, which I bought right here. So I've had this big gain, you know, my account, like, you know, I'm not sure what it's up today. I think it's around 15% or something, but whatever the case, I want to be in a position to buy more in a couple weeks because I think the markets are going to have some sort of pullback. It could be happening starting today. I still kind of doubt it, but I don't know exactly when it's going to start. It could start today. It could start when the next earnings season starts next month. Whatever the case, I think these markets are going to pause at some point for a couple weeks. I'm not looking for a giant pullback or anything like that. This is the HUI gold stock index. It could fall to like 500, 480, the worst case scenario. I don't know. Here's the S&P 500, you know. Here's the 50-day moving average. You're basically saying above 1400 is now support. I don't know how far it'll pull back. I'm not really worried about a pullback at all. What I want to do is be in a position to buy more, because typically what happens when markets break out, which I think gold stocks and global markets are just starting new bull markets, and what ends up happening is the very beginning of that, you get this giant surge up, which is basically what we've seen here the past couple weeks. And then you get a pause for anywhere from like 2 to 6 weeks, usually 3 to 6 weeks. And that pause provides a great entry point to buy more stuff. And that's the position I want to be in, is to be able to get back on margin with actual intention of then holding, you know, through the rest of the year, probably into the spring. Really, all my positions, and actually maybe even most of the positions really that I own now, all of them really that I own now, are ones I'm thinking of holding for years. They're almost all of them pay dividends, right? So what I'm thinking about now, and why I sold these 2 stocks, is the criteria I'm looking at now in my portfolio is, look, I want to raise a little bit of money, get off the margin so I can buy more, but what do I sell? Because most of the stuff I own are things I consider to be investments for several years. If I get on margin, I don't plan on holding a margin for years, so at some point I would sell off some stuff to stay off margin, either by selling individual positions or adding cash to the account. But whatever the case, the thing is right now, I think it's a good time to look at things, and if there's anything you want to sell so you can use that money to free it up to buy something else later, now's the time I think to do it. I do think we could go up a little bit more before we get a pullback, but I don't, I'm not trying to be perfect in my decisions. So I looked over my account, I looked over all my positions, and I asked myself, are there any positions here that I don't really want to hold 2 years from now or 3 years from now or whatever? And I said, yeah, there's 2 of them, and one of them is Turkey. Okay. What's interesting is I bought several ETFs for European markets. Okay, Russia, Greece, Austria, Belgium, and then Turkey. And Turkey has not done as well as the others. What's interesting though was at the time of August, Turkey was actually one of the strongest markets in the world. But since then, it's not even outperforming the United States market. While these other markets I bought into have gone up a lot. I mean, the Greece stock market's going crazy. The others are doing great. Why? And the answer is that those markets were all extremely cheap on a valuation basis, where Turkey wasn't. So even though Turkey was outperforming it right here, the markets that have actually gone up the most the past 2 months are the markets that are the most cheaply valued in the world. And I think there's some of those markets I'm not invested in that I like to be invested in. Italy and Spain at the forefront of that. And I'm not invested in Italian or Spanish ETFs. And those are 2 things I may roll this money that I just freed up today into in a couple weeks from now. I'm not exactly sure what I'll buy. I may buy individual stocks instead. But I'm now, I'd much rather, though, if I had a choice to be invested in Turkey or Italy and Spain, to be in Italy and Spain. Okay, in AI. Now, I bet AI about $23 at the beginning of August, and it shot up this month, and it's produced a nice 11% return for me, just like that. About $2,200 in profits I just made today by liquidating this position. So here's something a little different, and this is a stock that actually has outperformed most world markets. It's up 10%. It's beating the S&P 500. So why am I selling this? And it's paying a dividend. Well, in 2 or 3 years, I don't think this position has the upside as the other positions I own. So I don't really want to hold it as an investor. My thinking, my mind has changed from when I first bought it. Really, I don't want to be buying or holding things unless I think they have the potential to at least double. And I don't think this stock does. So I took that 10%, 11% gain. So now I've got money freed up in these 2 positions. I've added 10,000 last week. I'm going to add a little bit more. So I'm going to be in a position now in a couple weeks where I can buy more. And really, what I'd like to see is time happen. I like to see the markets pause and consolidate for a couple weeks before I buy anything else, because that time frame gives me time to evaluate other potential positions, other potential markets to buy in, and see how they perform if we do get a pullback, what holds up the most, and so forth. And so this is really, I think, an exciting time in the stock market. What we do now over the next few weeks can really determine what type of returns we get in the next couple of years. Because one thing about new bull markets, which I think is what we're seeing in gold stocks and in commodities and in markets over the world, is what tends to happen is, you know, we're right here on the HUI Gold Stock Index. It easily can pause in this area for a few weeks, maybe into November, I don't know. You know, it could pause from 550, come back down to where it is now, or it could be starting it now. I don't know. But at some point it's going to pause and break out again. And if it breaks out again, it's just boom. It's off to the races, right? So, and the other markets are in the exact same position all over the world. So I think that whenever the next pause of 3 to 6 weeks consolidation period occurs, that should be a final great buy point as an investor in these markets, and then it's just off to the races for the next couple of years. So this is the time to be prepared to deploy money in things that are just starting bull markets, and that's what I'm doing. So anyway, more updates coming. Just made $2,200 today, and it's fun. So we'll talk to you later.